Hey guys, so I'm reading this book that I picked up from the thrift store. It's called Kitsch Vintage Food Graphics. And it really caught my eye because look at this. It's like, it's just really cool. I'm gonna try not to use the word cool or interesting. It's really colorful, which captivates me. And it has text and pictures arranged for, I guess, aesthetics. And that also really catches my eye. So, honestly, if I didn't read the preface of the book, I would be confused by certain choices of graphics. Like, for example, where is it? I just saw something. It's like here. There's a picture of like chips and dip, and it says Philly Dip. What does it say? Patty Handbook. And it, in my head, I'm like, why are these two separate? This is in the picture, and this is, I guess, supposed to be in real life. But why are they separated with this like black box that doesn't really look good? And the same thing on the other page. There's a picture and then there's the picture of like real life under it. And they're not exactly the same. So it does suggest like someone made the recipe. And it's illustrated, right? I think because of the texture. If you can see it. And the preface really cleared things up for me. Because it's talking about here. There's actually the preface in German and in French here. But I read the English one. And it's interesting because it talks about, you know, like the mid-century American woman in the kitchen kind of way of being. And I like the first sentence. It's, the lady of the house was the object of much attention by American advertisers for almost all of the 20th century. So this book shows how the woman of the house was starting to get targeted advertisements with the rise of, you know, more production of meat and dairy and food on like greater scales. Every brand wanted to advertise itself, and the preface is talking about how they would do it. And the main way was to attach recipes to the box or to advertisements about the food, so people could see the value of this specific product. And like, that's such a common thing now. Literally, like, you get like a bag of tortilla chips and on the back it's like how to make, you know, salsa to like dip in it, or buy our salsa that comes with our brand. So it's like, it's pretty much everywhere now. But this is like the same concept, just, what is that, like 70 years ago when it really started booming. And yeah, I started flipping through it kind of from a graphic design lens and what I have learned in like my schooling of it. And I'm kind of highlighting in my head what I think works, what doesn't work, and it's really interesting to me. But obviously the only thing that I'm kind of like getting used to is the very heavy patriarchal message through it, you know, like here, this one got me. So there's this meat advertisement and it says, "This is life," right? And at the bottom it says, like over here, there's like a little text box and it says, "This is not just a piece of meat. This is something a man wants to come home to, something that helps children to grow, something that makes women proud of their meals. This is a symbol of a man's desire, his will to survive. For as old as man's instinct to live is his liking for meat, and to be satisfied in its eating. Is it any wonder that as meat moves back to the home plate, we look on meat with new regard, not just for its enjoyment, but as a nutritional cornerstone of life? Man, you're convincing me this shit. Like, and like a lot of these, like for example, this cheese plate, it has like a similar like convincing message, like it's healthy for the kids and the whole family, and there's different kinds of cheese and they all have their own flavor. And this is like called Zest. It's talking about the zest of cheese. It's like very descriptive, and like they're making a very beautiful language. And at the bottom of all of these, there's like American Dairy Association, like certified, or like this seal means that all nutritional statements made in this advertisement are acceptable to the Council of Foods and Nutrition of the American Medical Association. But the American Medical Association wants to make money from you. It wants you to be sick. So obviously it's gonna fucking tell you bullshit about how eating cheese is so healthy for you. Like in normal amounts, yes. But this is like implying that you should eat like a lot of cheese. It says, serve cheese more often. It's good for every member of the family, which is not true. Imagine your member of the family is lactose intolerant. I don't think eating a platter of cheese is good for them. But anyways, this really shows like just how far and how much audacity advertisers had to sell things. And I'm thinking about like present day advertisements compared to this, and I feel like people wouldn't fall for this bullshit because things are a little less overtly patriarchal, at least where I'm at in Canada, North America. It's a little more sneaky now, and because of the internet, I guess we're so exposed to advertisements and shit, like it's pretty easy to cut through the shit and be like, hey, is cheese really good for the family? Like you can just Google it and find research papers and and like it's so easy to disprove advertisements that you see because we have Google and we could just Google stuff. But anyways, I thought like this book was just cool to look at. Like I just thought, I'm like, wow, like these illustrations are really like eye-catching. This is like for the brand Jello. They were advertising it a lot too. It was like mentioned in the preface of the book. I guess it was a new thing around then. Was it? I'm not sure. But yeah, I just liked the way they arranged text and pictures and the colors. But then I actually found out that there is a meaning behind every choice of this picture. Look at this. I don't know. It's cool. Very grateful for the book section of the thrift store. You guys should check it out. But that's it. Have a good day. I also want to add like what I see from a more, I guess, graphic design perspective, not just like the theme of the book. Like this page I really like because my best meat recipes, you can see how the R is white here and then the rest of the text is like maroon. And they literally could have put recipes like here. They didn't have to fit it in this big thing, but they made it in the maroon kind of, it's not really a bubble, but text box. And I thought that was really unique and something that you can tell thought was put into it, and they didn't just like, you know, slap it on. Like they had to change the color of the letter R and then change the color of the rest of the word. And I'm not sure how, I mean, what did they illustrate this with? Like pencils or computers? I'm not sure, but it seems intentional to me. And like, let me see more. Like this one also stopped me in my tracks. Bright ideas with versatile Velveeta from from the Craft Kitchen. A good chunk of these are like Craft branded, like the mac and cheese, which is pretty interesting. Oh my god, I'm not going to use the word interesting, which is pretty so hard not to use cool or interesting. It's cool. It's just like today. Basically, the company exists today, and it existed 70 years ago. So that's a long time for a company to exist, and that's my point. So here, look at the way the bin, the container is done. It has texture. It's not just like smooth, like one color, or like even like a proper shadow to make it realistic. Like this is 3D while being 2D at the same time, if that kind of makes sense. Like it has areas of flatness, like here, like of the butter. Velveeta's butter, right? And then I guess with depth they add shadows, but they make it like stylized. And then here they have little lines that I guess pop the container from the back and like shining it, so it doesn't really blend in with the white background because there's like some white spots. I feel like if this wasn't there, the style of the graphic wouldn't come through as much. And I was looking closely. I mean, obviously there's the alliteration of versatile Velveeta, which is also like memorable, makes this like pretty effective. I'm like dissecting advertisements. I like did this in like 5th grade. That's what it reminded me of. Bright ideas with versatile Velveeta. And like I just reread it and found another connection that they made is these lines are like sunshine, right? And which is light, which is bright. And here they write bright ideas. So the graphics connect with the word and emphasize the point that they're trying to come through. So this is actually really effective. But I was just kind of confused at first by these like lines. I'm like, what are they used for? Like, it's not like a spoon. It looks like a handle of some kind of utensil. But then I was like, to me, it feels like because the text is offset, they're using this to fill in the negative space. But it doesn't feel that intentional, or maybe I'm missing something because I didn't exist at this time. Maybe they used something for Velveeta that looks like that. But yeah, to me, this kind of feels like a cop-out to fill in negative space because I don't really know what this is. And they didn't really want to center this text because I feel like if they centered the text, everything would just be kind of flat and have a little less depth. But by like scooting the text over a little bit, your eye kind of goes through the whole page on like a passage, like a journey, instead of just like straight up and down. And that's something I also noticed with a good amount of these graphics. Like they put the text like anywhere but the middle most of the time, alongside with the pictures, which I think makes them pretty effective, on top of the good illustrations. This one looks like it would be like a billboard though. This one has all the text in the middle, and it has obviously the graphic in the middle. And I was really curious about why they made the texture kind of grainy, if you can see, and why they made patches of white. I mean, if it was all red, it would, again, be kind of flat. But even, like, the red has texture. I don't know if it's coming through. It's kind of like, to me, it looks like the leather that you would find on, like, a leather car seat kind of texture. And I sat and thought about it. Again, maybe this is just my interpretation, and they might have really not thought that hard about it. But I was, like, trying to connect. I'm like, why did they make this texture about the Frankfurt sausage? And then I was like thinking, I'm like, okay, but if they made it smooth, if they just made it like white circle, like they made this like a white oval and they made these splotches kind of like more, you know, like more like this, just like smooth on the edge, then it would send a completely different message. And I realized that that kind of grainy texture is the texture you get when you eat a sausage, right? Like the meat kind of crumbles into your mouth. It's not like a smooth experience like Velveeta. Where's my Velveeta? Should bookmark them so like I can come back to them. Yeah, I lost the Velveeta. Oh, here. Like here, everything's smooth on the edges, even on the letters. Because Velveeta is smooth and the experience is smooth. But here, like even the letters have like serifs, and I guess that adds to, I guess, the jaggediness, if that makes sense. The not roughness, just the texture of the sausage. And I guess this font reminds me of like steakhouses and all that kind of stuff. They tend to use like this kind of all caps font, like Montana's, or like, yeah, like Montana's. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to like throw in the, I guess, more technical observations, and this is like an analysis that I would do for like class. I just think it's interesting. Not interesting. I think it stimulates my brain and makes me excited. There it is. Okay, peace out. I'm gonna edit it, and this is gonna be a long video again. I don't like making long videos. Whatever. Peace.